Okay, welcome back, parents. This is just another more in-depth overview of what we do here at Ivy Hill Prep for electives. And we just wanted to give you a little bit more information, especially when our slides weren't working at back to school night, and also go more in detail with the martial arts department. So I will be starting us off. If we can go to the next slide. So my name is Miss Tompkins. I am the electives lead and also the art teacher of the department. So I'm just going to start by telling you a little bit more about the art department. Slide. Okay, so a little about me. I got my bachelor's degree at the University of Arts in Philadelphia, and then I graduated with my Master's of Fine Arts at SVA, School of Visual Arts in New York City. And I still have a art practice. Mainly right now, I do a lot of illustration and painting. But I am also, my background is sculpture, and I've worked on multiple sets and worked with collaborated with a lot of other different types of artists, such as dancers and theater production, as well as photography production. On my off time, though, I also like to go snowboarding and travel. And slide. So the art curriculum we have here at Ivy Hill Prep, scholars learn about many different types of artists with different backgrounds and cultures. Implement art historical ideas into their work. They are learning different types of materials and techniques, such as painting, mosaics, clay we're introducing this year, and all of their artwork and what they do in class is project-based learning, which means they are working on projects long-term. We're not necessarily doing a little activity every single class. It's more a span throughout multiple classes where they will be working on one single project. This is how artists in the real world tend to work. So I want to bring that into this curriculum. Scholars are also taught how to critique and speak about art, using art as a visual language, and how they can connect their personal experiences to a bigger picture within our society and their culture. Scholars also have an opportunity to showcase their work throughout the year, this year being actually our first art auction coming up November 17th, where our students will be able to submit work and have it for sale, and all the proceeds will be going to the electives department. This is going to be paying for dance costumes, theater costumes, materials we need for the spring show, and art classes and the musical. So it's really it's a really great opportunity for students not only to showcase their work, but to also support the electives department so we can support them better in providing materials that they need within the electives, their electives classes. Slide. So what we learn in art. So K through first learn the very foundation of art, the elements of art. Kindergarten learns about shape, line, and color. They learn how to draw their shapes. They trace their shapes. So basically it's almost like handwriting, where you have to practice, practice, and practice. So they are learning how to draw their shapes. This will help them in later when we go more into drawing, as well as color. We touch upon color. They learn how to mix colors with paint, which will also help them later when we dive more into painting techniques and different types of painting movements. First grade is going more into depth about color, color theory, painting techniques, and abstract art, learning about artists who use abstract art in their work or create abstract art, and critique. This is the very first time that they will learn to talk about their work, what they see in their work, how do they feel about their work, what do they notice about others' work, why are different works, what are similarities between different works, what are the differences. And in 2nd through 4th grade this year, we are learning about identity through narrative and symbolism. So learning about themselves, really putting their little spin on their work. A lot of reflection happens during these classes. They also are using their sketchbooks. So sketchbooks are a huge part of the curriculum this year in art. Every single class, they start off 5 minutes drawing in their sketchbooks, and they have a prompt. The prompt is there for them to, in case they don't have an idea, but the actual idea behind them drawing in their sketchbooks for the first 5 minutes is just to have that understanding that the sketchbook is there as a routine to put any idea in it. If you're stuck, you just draw a line and you keep going. It's for the practice. And they are allowed to also, outside of our 5-minute drawing, draw whatever they would like in their sketchbooks. So it's really about, again, that practice of doing it over and over and over again and making it part of their life. That being said, 2nd grade is doing clay. It's very exciting. They are going to be using different techniques, learning about coils, slabs, pinch pots, and using those techniques to create a piece of their own. They're also learning about a ceramics artist, Shwanda Corbett, who uses clay as a symbol of driving her experiences and identity in the world. And then 3rd and 4th grade are going more into mixed media techniques. At this point, they have dabbled in a lot of different ways of making art, so they have a little bit more freedom of what type of materials they want to use to drive their ideas. So this means they may be coming up with a concept, but they have the choice of what materials they will use. And they also are, at this point, thinking about how they can tell a story within their art, and using symbolism as a way to drive that narrative. And this is taught through the lens of artists Faith Ringgold and Saya Woolfolk. In 5th grade, we are doing the Well Project, which is really just to touch upon how an artist may start an art project. It's research-based of an artist of their choice. They have to present the artist that they learned about, and then they have to create an art piece with materials and concepts related to the artist that they chose. So this is really touching upon, public speaking, learning how to do research, as well as taking their knowledge and being able to connect what they've learned about the artist to themselves and reflecting on the similarities or their interests and creating their own piece of work. And slide. And now I will let Miss Davis, the dance teacher, tell you a little bit about the dance program.
Hello, families. As she said, my name is Miss Davis, and I am the founding dance instructor here at Ivy Hill Prep. Every year, I am so grateful and proud that I have another year to work with your scholars and to work with new scholars in the Ivy Hill family. So just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. My family is from the South, so sometimes I have a Southern flair to me. I got my bachelor's degree at Rider University, and it is a double major in theater performance and dance performance with a minor in arts administration. I graduated from NYU in their master's program in dance and dance education, originally in the professions, but then I went back and got my certification in dance for pre-K through 12. I have my own dance company called Kinetic Dance Company, and I went to a performing arts middle and high school called Cap Calloway School of the Arts, where I did theater and dance. Currently, I am in a dance company, and I'm also performing with two other dance companies in New York City. So my schedule is very busy, but I love what I do, so it's good. Also, I'm a part of the best sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And every year with every family, I always say it takes a village to raise a child. And I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your village. You can go to the next slide. So the dance curriculum. So it is the dance curriculum is focused on looking at dance as human movement. So scholars are introduced to dance through locomotor and non-locomotor movements. And that's the first thing that they cover. And then we start to dive into how that is presented in social dance and more codified dances like ballet or modern towards the end of the year. So scholars are able to relate artistic ideas and works to their society. Again, just going back to the roots of dance. It's not this big thing that we see on stages, but it has some roots and it has some connectivity to other areas of the art. So we have some connectivity to music, we have some connectivity to culture, we have connectivity to art and all those things of that nature. So we look at the historical context. For example, this year we're unpacking the 50th anniversary of soca music, and we're not only just looking at soca music, but we're also looking at the history, where it derived from, why it derived, the people that created it. The next level of the curriculum is generating and conceptualizing artistic ideas. And that's just basically making sure that they take all this information that they learned in the beginning and they're able to create their own. The last part is being able to create, convey meaning through presentation and works. Every year, we always have a dance performance in the spring, and that's kind of like the icing on the cake of the year for dance. So we start out very easy, just understanding movement in its basic form, and then we kind of get to the idea of like, okay, this movement comes from this type of people and it has this type of quality. And then we get into creating our own dances. And then at the end of the year, we're able to present those things. And that's kind of like the biggest moment of a dancer overall is kind of that performance. Everyone works hard towards that performance. And all of the curriculum is aligned with the New York State standards for dance. You can go to the next slide. Just breaking down what they will be learning. So K2, again, is just that foundation of what movement is and how it fits to their body, and then kind of aligning that to just key terminology in dance. 3 through 5 scholars, after they've demonstrated kind of those basic movement skills, again, the locomotor, the non-locomotor, some of the social dances, they get to go into more of the codified movement and start to develop mastery in what they have already learned. Some of the styles that the dancers will be unpacking are mostly styles of the African diaspora. So jazz, modern, world dance. We have court-in and social dance. For example, our jazz unit is based on social dance. So it starts in the foundation of jazz with the cakewalk, and then it kind of goes through the decades of jazz. And then once they get older, they get into like the hip hop era, they get into the musical theater era, and then to what we know as jazz today. Lastly, I just want to talk about our formal introduction of the Spirit Dance Ensemble. This is a group for scholars who are very serious about dance and would like to either make it a career or do it outside, and just don't have the ability to do that. So I have a special group of dancers, the Spirit Dance Ensemble, and it's just, again, for dancers to just work more on their technique, learn more things, whether it's preparing them for middle school, preparing them for any auditions or any dancing that they would like to do outside of Ivy Hill Prep. To be in Spirit Dance Ensemble, there's a criteria. So scholars must have a minimum of Spirit points and a minimum of league points. And on top of that, their grades have to be good, their attendance has to be good, and the scholars do have to audition. Right now, auditions are closed. We have our full cast for the Spirit Dance Ensemble, but I would definitely let you know when we have auditions for the next year. Next slide. Again, this is just a breakdown of what the Spirit Dance Ensemble is. It's a comprehensive program with emphasis on technique, leadership, and professionalism. It's the resident dance company of Ivy Hill Prep. So scholars will be able to not only just take additional dance classes with me, have additional rehearsals, but they will also be able to perform at other performances outside of our spring show. So if there is another school that wants us to perform, these are the dancers that I will be using. If there's an event at the school and we need a performance, these are the dancers I will be using as well. This is a part of the after school program. So if your scholar decides to audition for next year, they will need to be registered in the after school program as well. Next slide.
I'm Miss Watson, and this is my first year at Ivy Hill Prep. A little bit about me. I am originally from Edgewater Park, New Jersey. I was born there, but I moved to the West Coast, Los Angeles and Las Vegas primarily when I was 10 years old. So I have a mix of East Coast and West Coast in me a little bit. I'm Jamaican American, and I graduated from Marymount, California University with my associates in film and media studies, and then Loyola Marymount University with my bachelor's in theater arts. And then to the right of my slide is basically all the theater things I do. I always call it theater things, but I am kind of all over the board. I've done acting, I've done directing, I've done playwriting. I had the opportunity and pleasure of having my play published. I wrote a full play about the CPS system in America, and it's my baby. I love it so much, and I love just creating work. And really, I found that I have a love for like theater, obviously, and just my passion for creating. And I also found that I have a passion for working with children as well. So I combined those two things, and that's what I do. So I have a camera right there. One of the things I do in industry right now is I direct, I do playwriting, and then I also do take photographs of theater productions and weddings when I have time. I've done everything from, being an actor on stage. I've done stage design, I've done stage management, and then with directing as well. So that's a little bit about me. For the theater curriculum, we do go by the NYS theater standards, and we start first with the fundamentals of theater. So vocal projection, movement, we have monologue / scene work, and then we have audition prep. My curriculum, my goal is for your scholar, if they choose to do so, if they want to audition for the musical, or if they want to audition for works outside of school, they know the material they need to be prepared. There is no, I didn't know this is Watson. I give them all the information to be successful, even if they choose to do so. So they're prepared with the things that they need if they choose to do so. It's unit-based learning. So we do all aspects of theater. So we'll do technical theater, musical theater, and of course puppetry. And they have an opportunity to showcase their work in class. I am very fond of just doing my best to show what your students are doing, because it's all live. That's the one thing about theater that I tell my scholars, it's all live. It's a lot like film, but with film it's recorded. Theater, it's in the moment. It's very real. And I try my best to take pictures, videos, and just kind of show this is what we do in theater when we don't always have cameras around. And then your scholars do have an opportunity to perform in the spring musical, which the musical will be announced very, very, very soon. I'm very, very excited for it, and so are the scholars. So what we learn in theater for K through 2, it's very fundamental based. They're learning about the basics, of course. They're learning about pantomime and audition prep. And they're also learning about monologues and scene work. And then most importantly, they're learning about puppetry. We just started the puppetry unit, I want to say about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it has been so amazing and fun. And it's just something for them to learn to use their voice and their movement outside of themselves. So it's almost like ventriloquism, and usually that is a misconception when we start. They're like, oh, but it's similar. But they use that to be someone other than themselves without having to do the full body yet. They start with their hands. So it's really, really cool. For 3 through 5th, it's real world theater. So everything is pretty much industry connected. I'm very real with them and I just tell them exactly what it is in accordance with the industry. So they of course do, the first thing is pantomime. Movement and voice are always the first thing. And then they do audition prep, which is combined with monologues and scenes. So they're prepared for auditions and they're prepared for their monologues and scenes. And then additionally, they do musical theater and technical theater. As you can see below, with the lighting, I have a lighting program that I found. It was really great. Because the one thing with being theater arts and learning theater arts during COVID was that a lot of it was online, and I learned to adapt my curriculum and to teach things in other means other than just being live. So they learn about lighting through tech work with this program that allows them to adjust the lights. It allows them to move the people, so many different things, and you learn how to light a stage, which is really cool without having to physically do it. And then we have set design in the very, very last picture to the bottom right. That picture, it was Hispanic Heritage Month, so we were doing actually like a set of the movie Encanto. I love to encourage the scholars to just think outside the box. And of course, like Encanto is not on stage yet, but how could you make Encanto on stage? Because they know a lot of Disney is on Broadway. And I connect that in my curriculum as well. Okay, perfect. So this is how to reach all of us, Tompkins, Miss Davis, and me, Miss Watson. And we are so excited to work with you all. So next we are going to go to martial arts.
All right. I guess I'll start. Good morning, Mr. Sterling. This is my second year teaching martial arts at Ivy Hill Prep. And you can go to the next slide. Yeah, next slide. All right, so about me, I'm a Jamaican American. I've been practicing martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically, for the past 8 years. One of my hobbies is photography and video. I also like riding bikes. I'm the father of a 3-year-old. Here you see the B logo. That's my school. I come from a really big martial arts school. We have locations all over the US, Mexico, other places. You can see a little screenshot of a video series that I worked on. Really proud of. I think we did that for about 3 years. And the last image is a picture of me at a fight camp in Mexico, fighting on the beach. And we can go to the next slide. It's Kiyoshi. I'll let Kiyoshi take over.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, parents. My name is Kiyoshi Basai, or Kiyoshi Burrell. I'm going to make this real short. I have been studying martial arts for 30 years. I hold the rank of 7th degree black belt in the Kuroshido system. And you can go to the next slide. The martial art curriculum scholars will be learning is basically, we're going to focus on martial art etiquette, which is how to meditate, how to bow, how to be just mindful of people's space, your feelings, interactions, and the stakeholders in the community. We do that by basically challenging to work through their emotions, their fears. Scholars will learn how to professionally advocate for themselves using confidence. They will practice elite values and spirit values. Next slide, please.
Who teaches what? So I specialize in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and Judo. What that looks like, I have a video for you guys on the next clip where we get into a little bit of what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu looks like. Muay Thai on my end, it's Muay Thai is just a fancy kickboxing from Thailand. What that's gonna look like in here is just regular kickboxing aligned similar, very similar to what we do in karate and boxing. So basically our curriculums are meshed together. So there's all these styles in one curriculum that we are both teaching. Judo is a style where we both mesh in. Judo is sort of stand up and takedowns and throws, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later.
Karate is basically, we're going to take the aspect of karate that we're going to use is more like the protocols, the meditation, the etiquette of Japanese martial arts. Jiu-jitsu is basically locking, throwing, along with judo. And we're going to do a little boxing. Your child, when they finish this program, they're going to be able to distinguish each style of martial arts that we teach them and be able to recognize it, so that if anybody comes into a certain posture, they'll know how to identify it and hopefully neutralize it. Next slide, please.
This is a short clip on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These are 5-year-olds doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is sort of what we want to get to. This is a bit advanced from where our curriculum is right now, but we're heading in this direction, and this is sort of a glimpse of what a competition would look like. So we can play the video. And we could stop the video around here. So hopefully that gives you a short glimpse on what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu looks like in competition. That was called live rolling. So that wasn't any pre-arranged movements. They're all technical, actual techniques and positions, and they're just going back and forth and transitioning between positions. That's what you have there. So for bringing that up, we have our release forms that we need signed and brought back. So far, it's not everybody brought back, so this is a soft reminder to sign the release forms if you haven't. If you need a release form, please reach out to us. We'll have our contact information at the end of the slide. And we can, yep, next slide. Oh, we can go back a slide. Sorry. Yeah. Kiyoshi, you want to take this?
So Ivy Hill belt progression colors, we decided that we're going to start at white, we're going to gray, we're going to yellow stripe, then yellow belt, orange belt, and then green belt. In each one of these ranks, there will be curriculum that the student has to attain. You cannot have a yellow belt if you do not know gray belt curriculum. So basically, you know, each rank has its own set of standards, culture, spirit, not spirit points, but spirit characteristics that they have to work through. Next slide. So again, students in kindergarten at white belt or white tip, students will understand protocols and basic animal drills. First grade, grade tip, students will understand protocols, animal drills, and basic blocks. Yellow stripes, students will have a basic understanding of kata forms and their application, and demonstrate how to perform kata sequences in precise and proper timing. Kata is basically form. It's a series of blocks and strikes with different stances, showing the child how to move up and down on the floor. And in combination with that, we also have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu aspect, where they're learning the animal drills, they're learning certain moves and positions. At third grade, yellow belt, students will be able to demonstrate effective positioning, controlling, and escaping from positions, showcasing the ability to transition from disadvantageous situations and more advantageous situations. So as you saw in the clip, one kid was on top, and the next minute he was on the bottom. So that's what they'll be learning at that point. Fourth grade, orange belt, students will be able to demonstrate effective break fall techniques and showcasing the ability to safely recover from throws and takedowns with minimal risk or injury. In judo and jujitsu, we do throwing. So as you saw in the clip, the kids were standing up, but they can get thrown to the floor. So we teach them how to land properly and safely. Fifth grade, green belt, students will be able to demonstrate protocols, animal drills, basically everything all the other belts did at a higher level and with more proficiency. And at that point, and at fourth grade and fifth grade is where we teach them, you know, basic self-defense concepts as well. Next slide, unless you. So this is a clip of some of the self-defense techniques that they will be using, and the other aspect of the martial art is what we call kamite. Kamite is basic sparring. This is stand-up sparring. Please roll the clip. Stop it there. So this is and at this tournament, these are some of the students that I taught. At this tournament, you showed self-defense, which is basically, this is tournament self-defense, blocking and striking. The other aspect was the karate point fighting, where the judges is in the middle and you can only strike in certain areas. We would like to, at some point, get these kids ready to go to tournaments, seminars, and things like that. But we must, again, have your support. We need those waivers signed. We need, you know, we just need you to understand that we are going to test them emotionally and physically. We test them physically so they can deal with their emotions, like how to work through winning, how to work through losing, learning, how to work through just not getting your way every day and still being okay with that for the most part, and still being able to compete with somebody and then show them respect right after. Like, I lost to you today, but tomorrow I'm gonna get you. That type of attitude, that type of feeling is what's needed. All we've been doing for right now in this program is basically instilling protocols and disciplines and teaching them before we give them, I want to say before we get them into the real physical aspect of it, we have to make sure that their minds are right, that their spirit is right, and that they're in the spirit of learning and not just trying to hurt each other, but to really compete with each other to make each other better. Next slide, please. So we can be reached at these numbers. If there is any questions, anything that you want to add, Mr. Sterling, about the martial arts program?
Nothing specifically I want to add. I believe there'll be a comment section when we post the video on YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask on there as well. But also our numbers and our emails are here.
All right. And that concludes our segment and the martial arts program. Thank you and have a good evening.